Hello, welcome to episode 2.
Here's our blanket, excellent.
Asymmetrical turn. Dropping and sinking up.
Notice how the...
So just notice. Joining us for the second episode of next week. Namaste. Hello and welcome to episode 65 of Namaste Yoga. Before we get started today, I wanted to thank some of the many people who have sponsored and offered some donations to Namaste Yoga. So I want to thank Lise Martin from Manitou Springs, Colorado. Actually, she just sent a donation like seconds before we went on air today. So thank you, Lise, for your donation today. Ruth Novak from Norristown, Pennsylvania. David Burke from Rockledge, Florida. Viola Virginia Vazio from Roma, Italy. Siobhan from Belfast. Richard Hammer from Cape Coral in Florida. And Floriana Rodino from Syracuse, Italy. Also, right down the street from me, Joanne Salima from Ajax, Ontario. So thank you all so kindly for your donations. If Namaste Yoga is making a difference in your life, then I would be happy to receive a donation from you. You just go to my website, www.melissawest.com, and there's donation links on the site. You can follow through to the Namaste Yoga site and donate there as well. And also I wanted to say, feel free to look us up on Facebook as well. If you follow us at Namaste Yoga on Facebook, if you look under pages in Facebook, then like us there and you can get lots of great updates from us. And while you're on my website at melissawest.com, do sign up for my email newsletter so that you'll know what's coming up on Namaste Yoga. Okay, so for today's class in episode 65, we're continuing with our series on the chakras. And we're at the second chakra. We're working with the chakras and their archetypes. So today we're working with the Goddess Archetype in the second chakra. So let me show you how I'm going to have you rest back while we begin. We're going to do reclined goddess pose. So if you have a couple of blocks or some pillows, you can set them up. And bring the soles of your feet together, open your knees and rest back on your back here. And this is a great way to start. Opens up that area of the second chakra right in your pelvis here. Okay, so this week with the second chakra, the archetype of the goddess Lakshmi, she is the image of fertility. She's the creative life force that perpetuates the continuity of life forms on our planet, and she is Mother Nature and the guardian of the natural processes and rhythms of growth and procreation. These are all attributes of the goddess archetype. When we are connected with our second chakra, it means that we allow ourselves the joy which comes from feeling good about ourselves, allow good things into our lives. And in order to do this, it does create some need for self-awareness and also a healthy sense of proportion. So when we are talking about the second chakra archetype and the second chakra, we're talking about indulging in the pleasures of life. But to do that, we have to be self-aware. So we might know that a glass of wine makes us feel good and that it's fun to have a glass of wine, but we also have a healthy sense of proportion so that we know it's not a great idea to drink the whole bottle, because then it's not fun anymore. So this is where indulging, there's those limits where we're self-aware to know how much we can indulge. It's like chocolate cake, right? I can eat a piece of chocolate cake and it's delicious, but if I eat chocolate cake every day and all the time, I'll suppress my immune system and I will become an unhealthy weight for my body. So we thoroughly enjoy life, we delight in abundance, and we're content with the way that life has unfolded. So delighting in abundance means not only finding happiness in material wealth, but beyond material wealth. So it means finding the abundance in nature and enjoying nature and all things like relationships and things that come to you that don't cost any money. So it's about a really innate sense of the sweetness of life. People with really healthy second chakras, they love their home and they make it a really comfortable and attractive place to live. And so as yogis, our bodies are our homes. And so we create these beautiful bodies to live in through the food that we eat. And a second chakra archetype body isn't rail thin. A second chakra archetype body is voluptuous and enjoys life and doesn't deprive itself. So we engage in the bounty of life. So balancing the second chakra has to do with being deeply connected to the source within you, which gives you the space to be in the world and enjoy its pleasures without overly identifying with it. In the second chakra, we move from suffering and sacrifice to pleasure, happiness, and contentment. So as you rest back here, just consider your relationship to the second chakra, your goddess archetype, and for men, we still connect to our goddess archetype. It's just, you could maybe even think about an emperor archetype or an empress archetype. So something really lush and abundant to connect with. So consider your connection to that and your relationship to that, and then begin to form your intention for your practice today. And perhaps you set an intention for the year 2011. And if you did, you may be continuing that thread through your practice. It might be something you come back to in your practice every day in the new year. But also it can change and develop over the course of the year. And once you feel like you've arrived at the intention you want to work with in your practice today, then begin to wiggle and stretch, but you can stay resting back. So from that position of the reclined goddess pose, you can just lift the props out of the way if you were using them, and bring your knees in and place your feet flat on the floor. So this chakra is associated with the archetype water, and the element water, and water is associated with flow. So when we work with the second chakra and the goddess archetype, things are flowing continuously. So when you think of goddess, you think of those long flowing gowns. So breathe in to the center and breathe out and sway your knees side to side. So lots of vinyasa today. And then bring your knees back center and extend both your legs out straight. And then what you're going to do is slide your right leg up, open it out to the side, and then bring it down and around. So you slide your right leg up, open your right knee out to the side, and slide it down and around. So this was a warm-up that I learned from my Pilates training. And I think it's a really great one to connect with the second chakra. And then switch to your other leg. So you'll slide your left leg up, open your left leg out to the side, and glide it down and around. And then bend your knees and place your feet flat on the floor, And cross your right leg over your left leg. Really open up your right knee out to the side and draw your left knee in. You can reach through, hold on your hamstring, and use your right elbow to open your right knee out to the side. So this we'll use as a static stretch to get right into our hips. We're going to do lots of work with hip openers today for the second chakra. And then slowly lower your legs down, uncross your right leg, and then cross your left leg over your right leg. Really open your left knee out to the side and draw your right knee in. Keep the back of your pelvis dropping against the ground and reach through. You can hold on your hamstring. This is a great place to hold on, especially if you have any knee issues in your right knee. And as you hold, just notice what's happening with your breath. And when things soften, you can draw them in a little bit more. So sometimes your edge changes in your posture, and so then you may need to deepen or back off depending on the case. And then slowly lower your legs down. From here, we're going to do another little vinyasa. So I'm going to move down to make sure I have enough room for my arms behind my head. So you might want to just check that out in your space. And then how this is going to work is you'll bend your knees and place your feet flat on the floor. You'll inhale, lift your pelvis off the ground and bring your arms overhead. And then exhale, lower down. Inhale, hug your knees into your chest. And exhale, lower your feet to the ground. And we'll keep moving that with breath. Inhale, lift, arms overhead. Exhale, lower. Inhale, knees to chest. Exhale, lower your feet. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, knees to chest. Exhale, lower your feet down. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, knees to chest. And exhale, lower down. Great. Okay. So I'm going to give you a few options on the next one. This is what I would call maybe a sliding scale one. So everybody can probably start and then, move to the ability of your body in this moment. So just be very cautious of your knees and don't force anything. Just go within the range of your own limitations. So start by crossing your right leg all the way over your left leg into cow's face legs, and we'll work with these legs a little bit later too. Then you're going to draw your knees into your chest, okay? And maybe hold on to your ankles. So a lot of people are going to stay here. One thing you can try to do is open your knees towards the ground. So you place your feet on the ground and then open your knees towards the ground. So quite possibly your knees could lower all the way to the ground. And for me today, this is as far as my legs will go comfortably without it going into my knee joint. So if the hip joint isn't ready to take the stretch, the movement, then what happens is it moves to the next weakest joint, which is here in the knee joint. So you always want to make sure that you're being very cautious when you're working your hips, that you're not pushing it too much because you don't want to strain your knees. And then you can release that and switch the way you have your legs crossed. Draw your knees into your chest, holding on to either your shins here or your ankles, and then again, opening your knees towards the ground. And notice that it will be different on both sides too. Okay. And then release your legs there. Just want to check if there was anything else I was going to do here. No. So that's all we're going to do here. You can either take your hand behind your knee and rock yourself up, or roll to your side and use your hand to push you up. So when you come up onto all fours, we're going to start with cat pose and get the motion of cat going. In cat pose, your hands are underneath your shoulders and your knees are underneath your hips. Elbow creases face each other. And then you breathe out and round up through your back. And breathe in, lift your head and tail and arch your back in the other direction. So it's breathe out and round. And breathe in and arch the other way. And then we're going to add on to this. We're going to take your right bent knee up as you arch your back behind you, and then exhale and round, draw your right knee towards you. So this is tiger's tail. Inhale, arch and lift, and exhale, round. So we're going to start working our abdominals here too if you're using good form. What you want to avoid doing is leaning out so that your left leg is on an angle here. You don't want to lean out to the side like that. You want to keep your hip right up underneath you. So you're going to inhale, arch, and when you do that, you'll really feel your core working. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. Back knee is bent. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. And exhale, round. And then lower your right knee down. And let's do this with the left knee. So inhale, arch. And exhale, round. Keeping that right leg right up underneath you. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Okay, great. So now double up your mat so that you've got a little bit more padding underneath your knees, and then walk your left leg through for lunge pose. And you're going to exhale, rock forward, and inhale, rock back. Exhale, rock forward, inhale, rock back. And then you can switch your legs, so bring your left leg back and your right leg forward. And breathe out and rock forward. Breathe in and rock back. So it's January here in Canada. I'm just thinking about how cold it is outside today. I had one of my clients tell me the other day that they like the Namaste yogas that we record outside. And we kind of thought that it would be fun to do a Namaste yoga in our snowsuits, yeah, for the winter. But today when I woke up, it was minus 21 Celsius. That was out without any windshield or anything, just minus 21. So cold. And then the heat was, I was up doing my yoga practice, the heat was on. The heat's set to come on at 6 in the morning. The heat was on nonstop till about 8:30 in the morning. That was the first time it shut off. Okay, so let's come back. I want to do that tiger tail again because I think you might find it a little easier now that we've opened up the front of your hips. So you're going to inhale lift, that's way better. And exhale round. Inhale lift. Exhale round. And then switch sides. Doesn't that feel a little bit better now that we've opened that hip a little bit more? Inhale, arch, lift your bent tail. Exhale, round, keeping tucked in here. Great. And then from here, maybe your wrists need a little break, a little stretch, so circle your wrists. It's a good flow thing too. Okay, and then come back onto all fours. Spread your fingers nice and wide so that it does reach out of your wrists and into the webs of your hands. Tuck your toes under, lift your tail up. Downward facing dog. Open your right hip out to the side. And then bring your right knee forward and place it on the ground. You're going to cross your right heel over to your left hip bone and fold forward here. Keep reaching your left leg long out of your pelvis so that your left knee doesn't grind on the ground here. Now come up slowly, step back into downward facing dog. Same pose on the other side, so left leg reaches up, open up your left hip. Bring your left knee forward, place your left knee on the ground close to your left wrist. Bring your right heel over towards your right hip bone. Reach your right leg long behind you and fold forward. So on this side, let's talk about a couple of modifications. One thing you can do in this pose is bring your left heel back closer to the midline, either to your pubic bone or right underneath you. That's to make it easier. Now, if you're not feeling anything in this pose, and in my experience this is not the case for most of my students, but if you're not, you can start to edge your heel forward. Okay, again, you want to be really cautious of this, because if your hip isn't ready to take that kind of opening, then it will go into your knee. So be cautious with that. And then if this pigeon pose isn't working for you because it's too weight bearing or too much weight pouring through your knee, you can always go back to that figure 4 stretch, that keyhole stretch that we did at the beginning. This is a great modification for pigeon pose for people with knee issues. Okay, so choose the place that works best for you. Okay, and then step back into downward facing dog again, and from down dog come up to standing. Great. Okay, what we're going to do now is moon salutation. So there are a lot of poses in moon salutations. It's a great hip opening sequence, and I'm going to show you the poses before we do them. And this is one version of moon salutation. There are lots of versions of moon salutation. Okay, so one of the main postures in moon salutation is goddess pose, which is such a great pose for our archetype today. So the way the goddess pose works is you take your feet wide and you turn your toes out, and then you squat straight back. So a couple of things that happen in Goddess Victory pose is that people don't take their feet wide enough. Also, people sit back and bring their knees forward. So what you want to do is roll to the outside edges of your feet and tuck your tail under in Goddess pose. Great pose here. Okay, another pose that's in the moon salutation is 5-pointed star. This one's really simple, just palms facing down, arms straight out to the side, toes facing front. It's a star pose. Then there's triangle pose. So in triangle pose, you turn your right toe and your left toe towards the front of your mat. You shift your hips back and forward, and then you tip. There's triangle pose. Another pose in the moon salutation is side angle pose. So like this. There's also warrior 2, stargazer, and warrior 1. Oops. Okay, then there are a couple of poses where people with knee issues need to modify. So here's the pose. The pose is like a runner's lunge, reaching forward like this. So this is too deep a knee flexion for some people. If that's the case, you can do this pose more upright. Okay? And then in moon salutation, the runner's lunge comes into a half squat. Again, for some people, this is too much knee flexion. And if that's the case, then you just stay up higher for it. So there's the runner's lunge, and you'll just come to a half squat in a higher position. So I think that's all the poses that are in moon salutation. We'll try it together, and remember, the goddess archetype is about flowing with life, having fun, receiving joy and abundance. So, if you mess up, it doesn't really matter. Just join in again. So let's start by standing towards the left side of your mat. And I'm going to do my best to mirror you, but I won't promise that I'll get my right and left mirroring correct all the time. It's funny how difficult that is to say for you. Okay, so you're on your left side, and you're going to inhale, take your arms straight up overhead. And then breathe out in side bend. Breathe in center. Breathe out side bend. Breathe in center. Now you're going to take a generous step to your right. Turn your toes out. You'll exhale, come into Goddess Victory Squat. Keep your tail tucked under and your knees back. Now inhale up, 5-point star, your toes turned front. The moon salutation is sometimes called endearingly the foot salutation because your feet move all the time. Now you'll turn your left toes in and your right toes towards the short end of your mat. Shift your left hip back, move your torso forward, and tip for triangle pose. Now bend your front right knee, bring your left arm all the way over for side angle pose. Front knee is bent, back leg is straight. You'll arc your left arm up, and behind you, your right arm comes straight up. You spread your fingers and you look through your fingers. This is stargazer pose. And then you come into warrior two pose. Front right knee is bent, back left leg is straight, arms are parallel to the ground. Now you'll turn and face front, your front right leg, warrior one. So this is where you can come part way down either to here or all the way down. Please take care of your own body here. And then turn face front. Again, either all the way down like this or part way down like I showed you before, further up. Take care of your own knees. And then over to the other side. This is the modified way. This is the full flexion of the knees way. Now you'll turn your right toe in and your left toe towards the other short end of your mat. Straighten out both legs. And then drop your right hip, open your right hip and your right arm, triangle pose. Come on up for a 5-point star. Turn your toes out, squat straight down, Goddess Victory Squat. Then you'll step up to your right. Breathe in, breathe out, side bend. Breathe in center. Breathe out, side bend. Breathe in center. And breathe out, hands come to your heart. Great, so let's do that again. You're going to breathe in and reach up. Breathe out, side bend. Breathe in center. So this is the other side. Breathe out, side bend. Breathe in center. Now big step out to your left. Turn your toes out. Sit straight down. Goddess Victory Squat. Inhale up, toes turn and face front, 5-point star. Turn your right toe and your left toe towards the short end of your mat. Shift your right hip back. Shift your torso forward to the left and then tip for triangle pose. Now bend your front left knee. Bring your right arm all the way over, side angle pose. Behind you, your left hand straight up. You gaze through your fingertips, stargazer. Then you come into warrior two. Front left knee is bent, back Right leg is straight. You gaze over top of your left fingertips. Turn towards the short edge of your mat on your left knee. Warrior one. Either halfway down or all the way down for that hip opener at the front. And then turn face front, half squat, either low like this or higher up if you're taking care of your knees. Half squat on your other side. Turn your left toes in, your right toes towards the short end of your mat. Straighten out your legs. Turn your left toes out, drop your right hip, open your left hip. Lift your left arm. Inhale up. Turn your toes face front, 5-point star. Toes turn out. Goddess victory squat. Then step up to your left. Breathe out, side bend. Breathe in center. Breathe out, side bend. Breathe in center. And breathe out, hands to your heart. Okay, so let's do that again. And in the spirit of the second chakra and flow, we'll flow it a little bit more. So I'll just move it a little more continuously. If you get a little lost or confused, that's okay. Just join in wherever you are. Yeah, you can always press your pause button and rewind to do it again. Okay, are you ready? Here we go. I have to say my Monday night class last week was like, I said, you want to do it one more time? And they all stood there. They were like, no, we're good. I love this one. I think it's beautiful. I love the circular nature of it. I love the hip openers. I love the goddess energy of this series. Okay, here we go. Inhale, reach up. Breathe out, side bend. Breathe in center. Breathe out, side bend. Breathe in center. Breathe out, big step, goddess victory squat. Breathe in, reach up, 5-point star. Turn your toes, shift and tip, triangle pose. Bend your front knee, breathe out, side angle pose. Inhale up, 5-point star. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale around, warrior one. Exhale, part way down or all the way down. Inhale, face front, either part way down or all the way down. Exhale, other side. Inhale, turn your feet. Exhale, straighten your legs. Inhale, open. Exhale, come on up. Inhale, turn your toes. Exhale, squat. Inhale, step up to your right. Exhale, side bend. Inhale, center. Breathe out, side bend. Breathe in, center. Breathe out, hands to your heart. Breathe in, reach up. Breathe out, side bend. Breathe in, center. Breathe out, side bend. Breathe in, center. Breathe out, big step to your left, goddess victory squat. Breathe in, 5-point star. Turn your toes, shift, tip, triangle. Inhale, bend your front knee, exhale, side angle. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, swivel around. Exhale. Inhale, face front. Exhale. Exhale, other side. Inhale. Exhale, straighten your legs. Inhale, open. Exhale, 5-point star. Inhale, open. Exhale. Inhale, step up to your left. Your left. Exhale, side bend. Inhale, center. Exhale, side bend. Inhale, center. And exhale, hands to your heart. Okay. So if you're like me, I could not figure that series out until I actually wrote it out. So one thing that you could do that would be really great if you wanted to do it on your own would be to go back and watch it again and write out all the poses. Then you'll see what pose follows what pose. And I think for me, it really helped make that connection. We're such a culture of writing. I don't know, that's the way I learn, is by writing. So yeah. And then there are people who learn by video, like probably all of you who are watching, so you're probably good. Okay, let's, I want to give you a little inversion for today. It's a pretty simple one, but it will feel great. So this is one of my favorite inversions. You need a piece of wall, and you'll bring your hips right up to the side of the wall and swing your legs around in front. And start with your legs up the wall here. And then you'll bend your knees and open the soles of your feet towards the wall. And that's it. Okay, bring your knees slowly back together and then roll to your side. And come to lying on your stomach. Okay, so on your stomach, I'm going to give you a couple of options here. The first one is to bring your right knee up to your side. Worked with Sphinx pose last week, so this is another variation of Sphinx pose. You're going to keep your tail tucked under and then walk your elbows back to underneath your shoulders. So a little bit more demanding for the back bend and on the hips with this hip opener here. So a couple of options: you could straighten out your leg here, quite a bit more demanding. And then slowly lower yourself down. Bring your right leg in. Just wiggle your hips from side to side to release your low back. And then let's do this on the other side. So bring your left knee up to the side at about a 90-degree angle. Tuck your tail under, so press the front of your pelvis into the ground and walk your elbows back. Okay, now there's one more version, and this isn't for everybody, so you can do one leg still. You can stay with the one-legged version. If you want to try this version, you bend your knees, you bring the soles of your feet, and then you open your feet towards the ground. So your legs are in a diamond shape, and your feet are opening towards the ground. My hips are really objecting right now, so hey, our tagline is real people doing real yoga, and I've never claimed to be anything other than real here, so this is as far as my feet go today, and you lower your feet as far as they can go, or stay with the one leg, and then walk your elbows back. And just feel how much more demanding that back bend is with your hip opener happening here. And then you can release your legs. Bring your knees in. I know. It's the irony of working the second chakra is that it's supposed to be all about pleasure, and really when you do yoga poses for your second chakra, it feels like nothing like pleasure. You'll feel good after though. Okay, good idea to come and do child's pose after that. Maybe child's pose with open knees. Great, now come on up. For the next one, you can use a block or have a block close by, because you may need it. You'll start at the back of your mat, and this is a crawling exercise. You're gonna cross your right leg over your left leg, and then cross your left leg over your right leg. So it's like a cow's face crawling. And then walk backwards. And walk forwards again. And finish with your right leg in front of your left leg. Open your legs, and you're going to sit down in between your legs. Now, this isn't going to be possible for everybody, and so that's why you have your block or a couple of books or whatever prop you have on hand. You would put it between your legs, and then you would sit down there. Okay, so do lift your hips if this is any issue for your knees at all. So in this pose, I'm just going to turn and face the camera. You can stay where you are. We'll be switching sides, but we've got a kind of fun way to do that. So in this pose, let's side bend. Side bend. Breathe in center. Breathe out, rotate. Breathe in. Breathe out, rotate. Breathe in. And breathe out, forward fold. This is how you're going to get to the other side. I love the double meaning in that. Okay, don't overthink this, just do it. Remember, it's about having fun, joy, spontaneity. Embrace your inner goddess. You're gonna stand on your feet and you're gonna turn, 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 turn. Keep turning until your left leg's on top. Okay, so again, you can use your block to sit on. Could be different on this side. All right, you're gonna inhale, breathe out, side bend. Breathe in, center. Breathe out, side bend. Breathe in, center. Breathe out, twist. Breathe in, center. Breathe out, twist. Breathe in, center. Breathe out, forward fold. Great, and then come on up. Release your legs, shake them out. And then rest back for Shavasana, lie down on your backs. And for your Shavasana, I have a short quote for you today. And as usual, if it fits, great. If not, just let it go. This is a Sufi proverb. And it says, abundance can be had by simply consciously receiving what has already been given. Abundance can be had by simply consciously receiving what has already been given. Thank you so much for joining us for episode 65 of Namaste Yoga. Thank you to Lise, Ruth, David, Viola, Siobhan, Richard, Floriana, Joanne, and all the people who watch and do Namaste Yoga each week. It's so wonderful to have such a large and far-reaching community practicing yoga. And remember, keep emailing. I love to hear from you. Make comments on the Facebook page, Namaste Yoga. Namaste.